Hi everyone. Today in this tutorial we are going to create a spinning loader animation. We will use interactive components and smart animation in order to do that. So this is what we are about to create. I mean, not this gallery screen, which is just to demonstrate how it works. But this is kind of like a simulation. Let's say I have a gallery with 5 images and I want to upload another one. I'm not going to go through simulating the window that opens to load the image from my computer, but anyway, when I click on it, let's say that we went through that and it does this loading, the spinning loader, and then the image is kind of loaded to here, and this is what we are about to create. So let's see it again. I click on that and I see the loader spinning, and boom, image is loaded. Great, looks good. So let's get to it. Okay, so I just brought the screen in advance, not to waste time and just create it here. These are just simple frames with this with this kind of like a image icon or image placeholder, and we will leave it that. This is very simple. And let's create the loader itself. Let me see the size. Yeah, looks good. I think that's okay. We can always play with it. We can make it either bigger or smaller. We will start with this ellipse shape. Now, one thing I'm gonna sharpen on animation. I said it on other tutorials, and I will say it again, that we have to frame the area of the animation. Meaning, I will show it in a bit. Um, Let me give it a stroke, something like that, which looks okay. This one will be without a fill. I will duplicate this ellipse, give it a fill, and I will do something like that. Give it something like that. The arc, I'm gonna make it like this width, and I will round its corners to be something like that. Of course, you can play with it in your designs. You can do whatever suits you right. I'm gonna, you know what, this one I will make in this color, something like that. We can always change it when we will create the loader on the file itself. And this one I gave kind of like a green image, something, sorry, green color, something like that. I think it's okay. Yeah, it's gonna look better when we're gonna put it on a darker screen. So that's great. I will frame that and call it loader, and I will create another frame on top of it, because when I spin the loader, you will see that you see the area that this frame takes. So I want to uh, give it another frame that will hold the animation area. This is important. We can either give it a kind of like almost the same size one and work without a clip content. I prefer to make a bit bigger of a frame, something like that. Yeah, I think that looks okay. I will place it in the center, and let me see when I spin it. Yeah, that's okay. I think it's good. You can make it kind of like a bit bigger or smaller, but this is going to be the area of the animation. The reason is that when we don't, then you can have like funny jumps, or because the default position of elements when they animate is always top left, and if you don't frame the area of the animation, you can have sometimes funny behaviors and jumps, and it's not going to behave exactly as you want it to. So that's better to do it like that. I will Oh, this one. I don't need the color, the background color of the frame, of course. I will just call it one. It doesn't matter for right now. Of course, on a design system or any like variants that you do in a project, so you're gonna call it in a normal name. This is just gonna be one, and that's okay. I will duplicate it. And another thing to explain about the spinning animation. So Figma is not like After Effects. In After Effects, I can give it like, let's say, give it a command of spin, do like a whole 360 spin, and that's what it will do. I don't even have to I can just do it with two keyframes. But here, let's say that if I will spin it just like that, for example, so what Figma will do is it will do the animation the shortest way from one point to the other point. So you will see actually the animation doing something like that. And that's it. I mean, it's not going to do the whole circle. So we have to give it in slices. Okay. So let's see how we do that. I'm going to rotate it 45 degrees like that. I will duplicate it, rotate it another 45 degrees like that, duplicate it, and we'll spin it another 45 degrees like that. Like this, we have the whole animation, the whole circle animation, and we can also play a bit with the duration of the animations between the frames to give it kind of like a bit of more of a loading, let's say, animation behavior. So what we will do now, basically, that's about it. I'm gonna select all these frames and just select here, create component set. That creates, it makes all of them, each one of them is a master component to itself. If I drag it out, you will see that this is a master component. I will put it in, and these are all four variants which are being held by this component, which I will call it loader. Okay, so we have the 1, 2, 3, 4 states, and that's okay. And now I will actually connect them for the animation. So I'm selecting the first one, going into prototype mode. By the way, if you are not familiar with components and variants and interactive components, I suggest you to see my other tutorials about components and variants to get like a better understanding of how exactly does it work. Okay, so I'm connecting this one to this one, interacting between them, and this is on click. So I'm going to change it to after delay. After delay, if you're not familiar with that, so after delay actually makes the animation, okay? It changes to another variant and so on without having me to click on anything in order for the animation to happen. Okay, it's an animation that triggers itself. So I'm going to select after delay, and this animation can happen only from a frame to a frame, but the outside frame, meaning I will sharpen that a bit. If I have here a screen, the size doesn't matter right now, and I have here another screen. Inside this screen, I have another frame, which has something inside it. It doesn't matter right now. I'll give it a fill just for us to see it, something like that. So if I will connect this frame to this screen, you will see that the after delay is disabled. Okay, now the only way that I can use after delay is by connecting the outside frame, meaning this, the one that holds the screen itself. If I will connect it to the other screen between like an outside frame to an outside frame, or like a main container frame. That's more right to say it like that, to a main container frame. And now I can do the after delay. Here, by the way, the logic is exactly the same. Okay, if I will select the inside frame which holds the loader itself, and I will connect it to this one, you will see that here the after delay is disabled. Okay, I have to do it from the frame, the main container of it that holds it. So I will connect it with an after delay. And um, now the after delay has actually a duration of itself. Here I will select Smart Animate, okay, because I want the animation of the spinning of this quarter circle spinning here. Now you see that I have two durations on my screen. Okay, one duration actually determines when we open this loader, when this loader comes to the screen, how long is it going to take until this interaction is actually happening? Oh, how long will it pass until this animation will start to happen? So I'm putting here 0 or 1. There is no 0, there is only 1, which doesn't make any difference. That's 0. It's 1 millisecond, it's nothing. By the way, 100 milliseconds or 300 milliseconds is third of a second. It's 0.3 second. That's the way it works. Okay, so 0, enter, and that gives me a 1. Sorry, that gives me a 1 millisecond, which is good. That's exactly what I want. And they are connected with Smart Animate. Now I'm gonna use the easing as linear. My dog is barking outside the door, so yeah, he's angry there. I don't know what's going on with him, but it doesn't matter. Making like funny sounds and stuff. Anyway, so I'm gonna give it a linear animation. Okay, linear, it means that it starts and ends, the movement starts and ends in the same speed. I mean, the speed of the movement or the way that it moves doesn't change, meaning when it's in ease out, it starts faster and ends slower, and then you're gonna see kind of like funny jumps between them. I will show how it looks. I will show how it looks so you will understand better, I guess. Now it's gonna be on linear, and let me see. After delay 1 milliseconds, Smart Animate, linear, and I'm gonna give it like 150 milliseconds. I think it's good enough. This one, the same thing, is going to be an after delay 150 milliseconds. Here we're gonna give it a 1 millisecond. We cannot give it a 0, as I said. Smart Animate, linear, that's okay. And this one is going to be exactly the same. I will change the speed of the last one when the last one actually gets back to the first one. Not now. I will show how it looks like that, and I will change it after to give it. Actually, I'm creating kind of an easing for this loader, and let's see how it happens soon. And the last one is going to be connected back to the first one. The same thing, after delay, Smart Animate, linear, 150 milliseconds. Okay, now what I want to do actually is I want to open this loader. When I hit this frame, I want to open this loader as an overlay. Okay, I'm gonna open this loader actually as an overlay instead of placing it on a frame. Now I'm gonna make another screen here, and after it interacts this one with the overlay, actually it doesn't really matter anyway which one of them, It doesn't matter that much. For now, I'm gonna do it with the first one, which I'll drag outside and place it here. Okay, now this frame, I will connect it to this loader, which is a frame to itself, and I will select here open overlay because I want the screen to be darkened when it's open on the screen. Okay, so that's going to be an overlay. Center is good. That's exactly what I want, meaning it's going to be exactly in the center of the screen. Add background behind overlay. I don't need right now the close when clicking outside because I'm simulating a loader, so I don't really need it. And add background behind overlay. By the way, I do have a tutorial about overlays if you want to kind of like understand overlays better, so you can definitely watch it. And add background behind overlay. I'm going to give it like an 80%, I guess, something like that. I want the screen to be really darkened. And the animation, meaning the way that it's going to open this overlay, going to be a dissolve, which is good enough. I think like 100 or 200 milliseconds, I think it's okay. Let's give it a test drive and see how it looks. Okay, so we have this one. Second, let's give it like fit width. Okay, good. We're gonna close this one. We don't need it. And I will click on this one and yeah, it gets stuck for some reason. Let's see exactly why does it happen. So I guess I didn't move the here. I think I didn't remove the 800 milliseconds. That's why exactly. You see, I saw it right away. I mean, I understood it as I did. Okay, so that's gonna be one as well. That's no problem. Sometimes you create something, it doesn't work properly, so you just go back and fix it, and that's okay. And now it works good. So we already have the loader working. That was quite easy, I guess. So the loader is working properly, which is great. It darkens the screen behind it, which is great. And it works okay. Actually, we can, I'm just thinking, by the way, if I can change the color here if I want to. I mean, I can change it in all of them, or I can just go ahead and do it here. I guess it will take all of them. I will make it a bit darker. Let me see how it looks. Let me reload it. Yeah, I think it's good. Okay, so we have a great loader working. Okay, so that already is good. And the other thing that I want to happen, this is like, okay, so the loader is created. We're behind that, but I want to give this loader actually kind of like an easing in the end, meaning it spins in a certain speed, and at the end I want it to be slower to give it kind of like a more of a loading behavior. You will see it now what I mean. So let me go back to prototype, and from this one, the last one, to the first one, I'm gonna give it a 300 milliseconds. And now if you will see, you see it kind of like it slows and it looks like more like a loading. It has more like a loader animation, that it doesn't just kind of like run at the same speed all the time. So I guess that looks nicer. It looks more real, and that's good. Okay, great. Now, after it loads, what I want to do now is actually I will give an interaction between this one. Now what I'm going to do here actually is I will just, I can delete, one second, I can delete this one, and I will delete these the dashed stroke around it, and I will give it a fill, kind of like an orange one, something like that. Yeah, And this one, I will give it a opacity back, and then I can see it. So yeah, so this is like the image load. But if you see here, by the way, what I did here, second, let me restart it. So that's the loader. And when it goes to here, you get kind of like like the image is loaded animation. So I will easily create that and show you how to create it now in like really 2 minutes. It's really simple. So to create this kind of image loaded small animation effect, so I will copy this one. I will just call it, that's a loaded image, and let me just flatten this one just to make it, I don't need to work with a group. Let me see, it has a rectangle actually, which I did before. Basically, let's 1 second make it clear. I mean, I can have the background of the frame inside here, and that's great to itself. If I do not need any animation or to do something else with it, then that's fine. I don't really need a background image here. I did put a background image because I wanted to show you this animation. So I'm working with a background image that will grow and make this kind of like fade out effect. So loaded image, I'll just call it 1, and I will duplicate it and call it 2. Figma already did that for me. Thank you, Figma, which is great. And I will take this background rectangle and make it bigger like that. Yeah, that's okay. Maybe even a bit bigger. Yeah, something like that. Okay, that's good. Now the frame actually holds its position. Okay, I'm gonna cancel the, okay, there is no clip image on that frame. There is no clip image, sorry, clip content, not clip image, clip content, which is good, and no clip content here. Great. So I'm gonna select them both together, and I will make them a component set. Of course, the last thing which I have to do is I'm gonna give this rectangle here, the background shape, I'm gonna give it opacity 0. And what I created now is actually here the opacity is 100%, and here it's 0, so it animates from this size and 100% opacity to this size of that background shape, to a 0% opacity. That creates the fade out effect. Okay, we will see it now happening again on the screen. And now, of course, I have to create the interaction between these two. So I'm going to prototype, and I will connect this one to here, and I will work with an after delay. So we have a lot of after delays this tutorial. So yeah, we're working with after delay, and after delay, I'll give it a small delay, I guess something like 100 milliseconds, which is good. Smart animate 400 milliseconds. Yeah, I think it looks good to me. We will see how it looks and decide. Now I'm going to copy this one, and of course here I will paste to replace. Okay, I'm placing this one here in order for it to work. So the only thing which is left for me to do, which I didn't do yet, is, if you remember, this one connects to the animate, to the loader animation, which is an overlay. And this overlay I will connect here because I want it after, let's say, 3 seconds. Again, after delay. We have a lot of after delays in this tutorial. So after delay, I'll give it kind of like a 3 seconds to run. When it will load on the screen, it will run for 3 seconds, which is 3000 milliseconds. Okay. And the animation itself going from this overlay to this screen will be in a, it can be either smart animate or dissolve. Actually, I think even it's okay. We don't need more than that. We can give it like a 200 milliseconds. I think it's gonna be a pretty good work. Okay, let's give it a test drive and see how it looks. So 3 seconds and boom, we have it. Good. I think it's a bit fast. I mean, faster than I thought. I can make it a bit slower. I can even make it here, give it like 150 milliseconds of delay and give it a 500 milliseconds, which is a half of a second of for the animation. Let's see how it looks now. Great. Looks good. And that's about it, I guess. So, um, okay, I think we're done. Basically, that's about it. I hope this tutorial was good and practical and that you guys enjoyed it. And of course, I will be happy. Thank you for watching this tutorial. I will be happy to see you in my other tutorials as well. Uh, I will appreciate a like and a subscribe and see you in the great next tutorial. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye for now.